everyone, it's Liddy and welcome back to my channel. So it's been a little bit of a while since I last uploaded my last video. I think it was around 2 weeks ago. I have been a little sporadic in terms of uploading since I think during Christmas time. I've been really busy. I've been doing a lot of things with like friends, family, and I've also got a few things in my personal life at the moment that I need sorting out. So I've been just really busy with things. So I haven't had much time to film any videos. I haven't also had time to edit, and I also haven't really had time to read. So I haven't been in that reading manga mojo at the moment. So I haven't really been uploading videos, of course. But I am back now, and hopefully I am motivated to film some more videos today. I am hopefully trying to film a few today so that I can get them all uploaded for you, and yeah, we'll have some more videos in the next few weeks. But I can't promise anything, mainly because, you know, life happens, things happen. This obviously, as much as I would like it to be, it's not my full-time job. So yeah, it's a lot hard to balance these things, and yeah, so life just happens, and I'm sure you guys all experience that as well in your own lives where things don't go as to plan. But yeah, I'm here today to do a fun video. I have a few videos planned to film today, but this one is basically going to be a highly requested video that I've seen recently on my GL Manga Rex video. It surprisingly popped off. Thank you so much for watching this video. Honestly, I didn't know that when I uploaded it, there would be so many people also looking for a lot of like Girls Love Yuri Rex. So thank you so much for, you know, the love on that video, and also all the comments. I read every one of your comments. So thank you so much for, you know, all your suggestions on there. And a lot of people in that video were asking about if I can make a GL collection tour, so go over all the GL I own, because they want more Rex, because the ones that I recommended weren't enough, which I'm really happy about. I'm so glad that you all are enjoying Yuri and, you know, getting into it, and also looking to find more to read. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to be showing you my GL collection and then also my BL collection, because that one's really small, so I'm just going to show them both in that. And I was planning to do a whole collection tour, but because of like time constraints, and also, you know, your girl is tired, so I can't do it all in one video. I have a big collection. I have like over 1,700 volumes, so to do it in one video is quite taxing. So I'm going to decide to kind of split it up. So I'll do my GL and BL collection in this video, and then I'll probably do some like seinen shonen, and then josei shoujo, and then like other stuff in between. So hopefully that's okay and you still enjoy, and subscribe if you want to see everything else other than GL and BL. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Definitely let me know what you thought of all the GL manga, if there's anything that you were interested in. I'm going to try to give like a brief explanation of each of the series, so that, you know, you can decide whether you want to read it or not. But yeah, definitely check out my GL Yuri Manga Rex. I'll leave it somewhere, the card here, so that you can check it out to see some of my favorite Yuri series. And yeah, let's get into the video. As always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe for more manga content, and I will see you soon. Alright, so we're gonna start up here. Let me just move my acrylic stands. As you can see, I have some Summer You Were There acrylic stands that I love, and I'm just gonna move them out of the way 1 second. So the first one we have here is Throw Away the Suit. This one is about two women named Haru and Hee-chan. One of them is studying, and one of them is trying to find a job, and they're struggling to do that. So they end up ditching their Tokyo city lifestyle to run away to a kind of remote island area, which one of their grandparents has a place at, and they're just basically spending their time together and also trying to find work whilst they're on this island, and then meet some people, and they decide that they're going to get married, and all these things start to happen. Personally, I thought this one was a little bit depressing, mainly because it was so relatable in terms of not being able to find a job and all the kind of adult responsibilities you have when you're older, and the things like being able to run away from all that would be so good. But it also kind of hits really like hard on reality, that that kind of thing is just not easy to do, especially when you're at an age where you have to deal with responsibilities, pay for bills, and like live. So yeah, I enjoyed it, but I did feel like it was a little bit too hard hitting. The next one is The Summer You Were There. This one is one of my favorite GL series. I definitely recommend you to check out my GL Manga Rex for more in-depth review of this particular series because there's a lot to it, but it's basically about two high school girls called Shizuku and Kaori, and they meet on chance basically because Shizuku is throwing away a manuscript and then Kaori takes it and starts reading it, and then she really loves it, so she asks Shizuku to write the next story, but then Shizuku is like, no, that's my last story. And then Kaori's like, okay, then we should date during the summer and I'll be your inspiration for your next story. And then that's kind of how it goes. There's a lot of things hidden behind that gets also revealed later that is just really good, so definitely recommend you to try this one out. The next GL series I have, Young Ladies Don't Play Fighting Games. This one is more of a fighting game GL series with a kind of Yuri subplot, I guess. There isn't outrightly any GL from what I've read so far. I think I've read up to volume 3, but there is like hints of them kind of having those kind of feelings, so we'll see how that develops. But this one is really fun. If you're into fighting games like Tekken, Street Fighter and things like that, you'll definitely like it because it has like the specific lingo. But it's basically about a bunch of girls who are in a very proper ladies boarding school, and then they find out each other's likes for playing fighting games, which is not very ladylike, so they have to hide that they like it, and then they also end up sneaking out to play those games together. And the next one here is Even Though We're Adults. This one is also a GL series that is an adult one. So there is two people who basically meet at a kind of restaurant bar, and then they kind of hit it off. But then later, one of them finds out that the other actually has a husband. So it's a little bit of a taboo subject line for this one. Not everyone's gonna like it, but I enjoyed what I've read so far and I'm very interested to see how it develops. And the next one is School Zone Girls. This one is also kind of a high school series, but it has a subplot of GL. It's not outrightly shown, but there is definitely hints of people starting to like each other. But it's kind of like a more episodic school life drama. Very comedic, very fun. I really like the characters in this one, so not a lot of people talk about it either, but I do really enjoy this one. And then we have the next shelf down here. I'm gonna move my acrylic stands in one moment. But this one is How to a Relationship, also one that I talked about in my GL Manga Rex. Really, really good series. It very much focuses on a realistic depiction of a relationship between two women. A lot of things happen. It's not like a sweet fluffy romance. It's very realistic in the way that it portrays kind of conflicting emotions, as well as, I guess, the internalized homophobia some people have when they're in their relationship, where they feel kind of disgusting when they feel pleasure and things like that. So it focuses on a lot of that kind of thing, as well as just like intimate relationships, how those differ between different people. So like some people they like to be intimate very often, and some people don't like that, and it just focuses on a lot of those kind of things. This is the two main couple that we see at the start, and yeah, it's just really good. It's about two friends in college, and they end up finding out that they both like women, and then they end up starting a relationship due to that fact. But they never really had any romantic experience or feelings for each other prior to that. They only just started dating because they're like, oh, we're both interested in women, why don't we try dating? So then you can see how much like conflict and miscommunication could happen between them, because they didn't really start off a relationship out of love, I guess. But very, very good. I'm liking where it is in the plot at the moment, but I think it's gonna turn again from like what it initially is happening here. So yeah, really good. Highly recommend this one. I think it ends now at like 13 or 14 volumes, which is really sad, but really, really enjoyed the ride for this one. The next one is Kiss the Scars of the Girls. This one is a supernatural GL series, and it focuses on a school of vampires, and then they have a system in that school where you get like an older sister, and the sister you basically share a bond with them, and it's like this whole thing. And then one of the girls ends up getting assigned to this sister that never really wants that sisterly bond due to something that happened in her past. But it's them two kind of getting close together and, liking each other, I guess. I like this one. I didn't think it was anything amazing, but it was quite enjoyable. And the next one is Boys Gilding the Lily Shall Die. Haven't read this one yet, so not sure exactly what it's about, but it looked cute, and I think it has some kind of musical element to it, so interested to see how this one goes. And the next one is If My Favorite Pop Idol Made It to the Budokan, I Would Die. This one looks at idol culture, and there's this girl who ends up kind of walking past an idol show and then pretty much falls in love with this girl who represents the color salmon, and she becomes a huge fan of this idol group and this girl as well, and basically attends all their idol concerts, buys all her CDs specifically, buys like those handshake events things and goes to them. And it just takes a look on like fan culture of these like idol groups, as well as just like inside the idol culture. So it's really interesting. It has that GL element mainly because the girl who's the fan really likes this girl, like is in love with her. But then she also secretly actually really likes the fan as well. But obviously she's really shy and doesn't know how to express herself. So she's mostly very kind of stoic and kind of emotionless when she meets the fan. So the fan always thinks that she doesn't like her. So there's this whole thing. I ended up getting volume 2 for like really cheap for 99p. I haven't read the second one yet, but yeah, the first one was interesting. And then the next one I have is Still Sick. This one is an office-based GL adult series. I got this really cheap on Water Books, but I haven't... Did I get it on Water Books or did I get it on Sci-Fi? I'm not sure. But I haven't read this one yet, but I heard it's really good, so I got it. And then the next one I got is Yuri Espoir. This one is a story about a girl who is basically betrothed to get married after she graduates from high school. It's pretty much the plan of her parents, so she can't really go against it. And she actually really likes girls, so she's obviously really, heartbroken about this and kind of expresses that her life basically is going to end when she graduates high school because of the fact that she has to marry this random person that her parents chose. So she ends up doing like a memoir of like Yuri, like a memoir or like a memory book of like Yuri instances and like Yuri experiences. And so she ends up like doing them in like a sketchbook, and yeah, like a sketchbook of lesbian romances to leave behind this type of legacy that she has. And so she goes around seeing people, like girls being close together and then making up like a Yuri scenario and putting it in her sketchbook. And the next one here is This Monster Wants to Eat Me. This one is also a supernatural GL series about a women eating mermaid. This one gave me very much, what is it, that one called? Summer Hikaru Dive vibes, but GL version. This girl is basically a mermaid, and she ends up meeting her whilst she's going to school, and then is like, oh, I'm gonna eat you, but I want you to be at your most deliciousness, so I'm gonna wait. And then she's just like, okay, then just eat me already, because she basically wants to not live. So yeah, but there is like I guess like a hint of GL. I'm not sure how it's gonna develop because she's a monster and this is a high school girl, but I'm intrigued. I like it. Yeah. This one is the guy she was interested in wasn't a guy at all. A lot of people have been raving about this, and I also really, really like this story. But it's basically about this girl called Aya who ends up visiting like a record music shop and sees a guy there, but doesn't realize it's actually her female classmate Mitsuki. But Aya ends up falling in love with Mitsuki, thinking that she is a guy, but she's not, as the title suggests. And then it's about them kind of finding out that truth, and also just like getting to know each other and becoming like friends, and then also becoming interested in each other. So it's really cute, and the inside is really nice and all green inside as well. So yeah, definitely get this one, support this one, it's really good. The next one is Donuts Under a Crescent Moon. This one is a office-based romance where two women basically start to get to know each other. One of them is always trying to find love and going on dates and stuff, but it never works out. And then she kind of, I guess, has an awakening when she starts to get closer to one of her colleagues and is like, maybe this is why all my relationships haven't worked out, because I'm actually interested in women. And so it's kind of a discovery of her sexuality, I guess, and they just kind of end up getting closer together and things happen. And then by the same author we have I Married My Female Friend. This one is a story about two platonic friends who actually end up getting married. I don't remember exactly why they got married or the reason why they got married. I can't remember, it's been a while since I read it, but they get married and then they start to like live their lives together but separately, obviously, because they're not actually married for love. And so that's kind of their dynamic, but then obviously they start to care for each other a little bit more and things start to develop. And then the next one is Monthly in the Garden with My Landlord. This one is about a previous idol who ends up kind of going to hiding due to an event, I think, that happened. I think she got like stalked or something, and then she owns this like house and then she puts it up for rent, and then someone ends up taking that rent offer, but then finds out that the contract is to actually live with the landlord. So they end up living together, this idol and this like lady, and then they start growing closer together, and it's really cute. I really like the art style in this. I definitely recommend this one. Sorry, I'm using one hand, but yeah, it's really cute. Definitely recommend this. And the next one of my favorite GL series that I also talk about in my GL Rex. Definitely check that out for the plot line of this one, but this one's My Girlfriend's Not Here Today. As you can see, the title is very sus and the plot is also sus. So yeah, I would recommend this one if you're looking for something really messy, a little bit steamy. This one, guys. And then the complete opposite, we got She Loves to Cook, She Loves to Eat. Also one of my favorites, really wholesome series about two people who live in the same apartment complex and they end up sharing meals together and realizing that they might like each other and discovering, you know, their sexuality as well as things about, you know, feminism. Really like this one, so good. The relationship between these two characters are amazing. I just love their dynamic. They're very sweet. They talk openly as well. They share, like, you know, their troubles with each other, and it's just wonderful. If you like food-based series and just wholesomeness, you'll definitely like this one. Recommend this one a lot. And then this one is Moon on the Rainy Night, which I also talked about a few times in my videos, but this one is about a girl Canon, and then Saki. Canon is deaf and Saki gets told by her teacher to, you know, look after Saki because obviously she can't hear very well, but Canon is like, I don't need your help, get away from me. But Saki is really persistent in terms of trying to be her friend, so they end up getting close together, and then she ends up getting a new piano teacher, which is her mother, so they end up getting even closer together like that. And then Saki also has a secret where she actually likes women, not men. And then once she starts getting closer to Canon, she falls for Canon, and then she's trying to deal with that struggle because she doesn't want to expose herself of liking her friend if her friend obviously doesn't feel the same way. And especially when you're in high school, dealing with that kind of feeling is so difficult. So I can completely understand why she's trying to keep it a secret, but yeah, it's their developing relationship and friendship with each other, which is really cute. The next one is The Girl I Want Is So Handsome. I purely got this one based on the fact that it's the same author as The Summer You Were There, and I love that author, so I'll buy anything from her so I can support her. I haven't read it yet, not sure what it's about, but I can tell it's probably from the title something about this girl who's really handsome, and then this one probably falls in love with her. Alright, so we're up here now in this section of my room to show the rest of my GL series, but this one is Amongst Us Book 1 Soulmates. This one is a Chinese comic, I think. I have not read this one, so I have no idea what it's about, but I heard a lot of things or good things about it, so I got it. And the next one is Asumi-chan is interested in lesbian brothels. This one is a 18 plus adult GL series, and it's basically about this girl called Asumi-chan who is still thinking about her childhood friend that she used to love back in the day, and she's on a mission to find that girl. And there's rumors going around that she is now working at a lesbian brothel, so Asumi-chan starts to request these women from the brothels to see if she'll end up getting matched with the girl from her childhood. So the plot is very sus, but in itself it's done quite well. I think it focuses a lot on female sexuality as well as kind of having fun, and also everything is very consensual. It's just basically a bunch of attractive girls having a good time together. So yeah, I really enjoyed that one. And then I got Chasing Speaker, which is one that I didn't enjoy very much at all. The plot was weird. I don't even remember much what it was about, but it's basically a high school series where there's this girl who's like I guess an honor student, or one that is like on the committee where she basically tells people off for not dressing properly. And then there's this one girl who's always like dressing inappropriately and always gets told off by this committee member. But then the girl who is like dressed inappropriately finds out that the committee member is a hostess or something very unsavory for a high school student, and then she kind of has that on her back. It wasn't that good in my opinion. Don't recommend that one. And the next one is If I Could Reach You. This one is also a kind of depressing, sad story of a girl who ends up falling in love with her brother's wife. And so she is dealing with that first love, and also the fact that they are now living together. She is struggling with obviously her feelings and seeing her brother with the person that she loves. And then the next one I got is Kaze-san and all these other things like Morning Glory's Bento. It's the Kaze-san series. This one I also haven't read yet, so I'm not sure 100% what it's about, but I do know that it's about two high school girls who are already in a relationship, and it kind of focuses on their existing relationship. So it doesn't focus on them like trying to get together. It's literally just their relationship and all the things that happen. And then the second part, Kaze-san and Yamada, of all like that this series, it focuses on them in college as well. So yeah. And then this one in the corner is Run Away With Me Girl. This one is about two people who were seeing each other in high school, and then they end up breaking up, but one of them is still kind of hung up on her crush back in high school, and then they meet again, but then she finds out that the girl that she was in love with now is gonna get married. But then there is a lot of like things going on behind the scenes where the husband is basically a piece of crap. He's not very nice, and so they kind of rekindle their relationship. So it does focus on another taboo subject, but it was really heartfelt, and the art style is really, really nice in this one. And the next one we got here is Yuri Is My Job. Also talked about this in my GRX, but it's basically about a girl who ends up having to work at this like maid cafe or Yuri cafe because she ends up breaking somebody's arm who works there, and then she's like, oh, you broke my arm, so I can't work, so you have to work for me. So she kind of ends up getting like blackmailed and dragged into this Yuri cafe. And in this Yuri cafe, they basically do kind of like Yuri fan service. So for instance, Oran High School Host Club, you know how the twins used to do kind of that twin fan service, kind of like that, but Yuri. And she meets someone from her past. Before they were really good friends, but then something happened, and that's why they don't like each other anymore. But they start to develop more interesting feelings towards each other, and it also focuses on other members of the cafe as well. So yeah, it's really interesting. I personally really like it, and I like the characters in it as well. And then here we have Whisper Me a Love Song. I've only read like the first 2 volumes of this one, but it's basically about like one of these girls who enters high school, and she sees one of the girls in a musical band singing, and then falls in love with her, and then confesses her feelings to this band member. And then the band member kind of mistakes that love for like romantic love, when it's more like when you admire someone love for their talents, but then it's kind of them figuring out what really is love and things like that. But it focuses on music as well. And then the next one we got is I Can't Say No to This Lonely Girl. This one I read the first volume of. I didn't really love the first volume at first, but I was willing to try it again to see if it was like one of those days where I wasn't feeling it. And I don't 100% remember what it's about, but I know it's a high school GL series. And then here we got A White Rose in Bloom. This one also a high school series, and this one focuses on a boarding school, and I don't remember exactly what it was about, not gonna lie. And I read all 3 volumes, so I'm not 100% invested in this one, but it was by Asumiko Nakamura, who is a very highly well-known BL mangaka. I don't think her GL is selling very well though. And then we got Bloom Into You, which is a classic GL series. Everyone should know about this one. I personally haven't finished reading this. I only read volume 1 and I thought it was okay. A lot of people have mixed opinions on this though. They say it's like the best, and then some people say it's like overrated. But also another high school series where I think they start dating to see like if they will like each other or if they can fall in love with girls. It's kind of like an awakening, sexuality awakening story. But yeah, the next one is Goodbye My Rose Garden. This one is a historical series where this lady of a house who ends up hiring a maid, and she's Japanese, and then they start growing closer together. And yeah, it's okay. This one was okay in my opinion, not amazing. And then we have Hello Melancholy, which I haven't read yet, but I heard it's a like music based GL series. And then over here we got I'm in Love with the Villainess. Basically a girl who plays this, I think it's an otome game, and instead of falling in love with all the like handsome characters, she actually really likes and falls in love with the villainess, which is the mean girl in the story. And then later on she gets killed and then reincarnated into that story, and so she is able to face the villainess that she admires so much. And the villainess is like, what the hell, like, why are you so into me? And then she thinks it's like a plot device. So the villainess is like really, really mean to her, but the more mean she is to her, she loves it. Like, she loves being told off and told mean things to her from that villainess, because she's like in love with her so much. So yeah, this one's really good, really funny. I like this one. And I got My Cute Little Kitten, which I also haven't read yet, but I think it's about 2 women who are together and then they end up taking care of a kitten. That's all I know about it. Sorry. And then here we have the next one, which is Adachi and Shimamura. This one I also haven't read yet, but a lot of people talk about it. There's an anime as well. Some people say it's like not really Yuri, and then some people say it is. So, but I got it to try to see how it is. Do let me know if you've read it and you like it. And then this one is After Hours. This one focuses on 2 women who meet at a club, and one of them is a DJ, and then they start getting closer together. And the one who met the DJ starts to think about, her career and what she's doing in life, because she's not really doing anything in her life or doesn't have any passions. So yeah, it's about like figuring out what to do. And then we got Catch These Hands, which is a delinquent manga. This one is very like silly. It focuses on 2 people from high school. They were both from different high schools, and they were basically like rival members, like delinquent rivals, and they used to always fight with each other. They meet each other later on in life, and then one of the girls finds out that the other girl who they were constantly fighting with was actually in love with her, but she didn't know how to express herself, so that's why she always threw punches. But then they end up kind of making a deal and start dating to see how it goes. So yeah, it's really silly. And then we got Eclair Blanche. This one is an anthology. This one was like really cheap, so I just ended up buying it. It's like £2.99. So yeah. And then we got I Love You So Much I Hate You. This one is a office-based series, and this one also focuses on a taboo subject, which is cheating. But yeah, this one is 2 people kind of hiding their relationship and then basically having intimate relationships outside of work. It was okay. And then we got I Don't Know Which Is Love, which is a kind of harem-based GL series. This girl ends up going to a new college and then is like, I'm gonna go to college and find a girlfriend. But then she ends up meeting like loads of different hot women who kind of act like they're into her as well. So then she gets confused and is like, oh my god, which one is real love? And then we got this one, which is The Magical Revolution of the Reincarnated Princess and the Genius Young Lady. Long title. This one's about a girl who really loves magic. She ends up getting reincarnated into a world where magic kind of exists, and then she is basically focusing on, you know, testing magic and things like that. And then her brother ends up canceling his engagement with one of the girls, and then she ends up sweeping away the girl from her brother and is like, you can be my apprentice and help me out with magic. And then their kind of relationship develops there. And then we got The Witch's Marriage, which is a cute GL series about witches and how basically two witches will have like this really strong bond, and then they can basically do anything. I don't really know exactly what it was about. This one was okay. The one gripe of this series for me is that this girl looks like a child and this girl doesn't. So that's my main gripe about that series. And then this one is See You Tomorrow at the Food Court. I don't actually think this is GL, but I just put it there. Alright, and here we have Other Side Picnic, which is a light novel. This one is a horror GL series. There's basically windows or doors to this other side, and there's this girl that ends up finding it because she's kind of alone. Her family dynamic is not good. She has no friends, so then she ends up finding this door to the other side, and then there she meets loads of different like weird creatures and life-threatening things, but then also meets a girl who is looking for her friend, and then they kind of team up to work together to like find things in the other side that they can sell to this person. And then they also run into loads of like weird creatures and things like that. I read the manga and I wasn't like 100% sold on it, but then everyone said that the light novel was better, so I started collecting light novels, but they're really hard to find, so I only have volume 2. And then we got Spoil Me Please Hinamori-san. Don't really know what this one is about. I just bought it because it's a GL. And then we have SHWD. This one is about really hot butch women. I think they defeat these kind of hazardous stuff, but yeah, butch women. And then we got Sheep Princess in Wolf's Clothing. This one is kind of a anthropomorphic type of story where one's a sheep and one's a wolf, and the wolf is the bodyguard for this sheep princess. And the sheep princess is in love with the wolf bodyguard, but the wolf bodyguard has a duty obviously to protect the princess. So, you know, there's these kind of taboo relationships going on here. It's cute, nothing amazing. The Whole of Humanity Has Gone Yuri Except Me. This one I haven't read yet, but I bought it because it's Yuri. What else is there to say? And then we got Handsome Girl and Sheltered Girl. This one looked really, really fun. Really, really cute. So I decided to get it. But it has like the guy she was interested in wasn't a guy at all vibes, where this girl ends up accepting to be the boyfriend of this girl, but then she finds out that he's not a boy, so kind of has that vibe. And then we've got Failed Princesses, which I have no idea what it's about. I think it's just a high school series, but I got this really cheap from Geeky Dreams, so yeah, and it was a GL, so I got it, but I don't have any of the earlier volumes. And then we got How Do I Turn My Best Friend Into My Girlfriend, basically about two childhood friends, and then one of them figures out that she actually is in love with her best friend, and so she's trying to figure out how she can kind of express her feelings without freaking out her best friend. And then there's No Freaking Way I'll Be Your Lover Unless. I read this one during Pride Month, and I can't really 100% remember what it's about, but it wasn't amazing. It's another high school series. I don't know why there's so many Yuri in high school. I wish there was more adult series, but it is what it is. And we got the two of them are pretty much like this. This one is an adult series from 7 Seas. I think this one just focuses on a slice of life plot line where it focuses on this couple who are just like moving through daily life. But yeah, that was my GL stuff. Now I'm going to show you some of the BL things that I have, which is not a lot. So we got Barbarities here, which is a historical BL series. Haven't read this one actually, but I think it focuses on like England, something about England. And it's by an author that I used to really love reading back in the day online. So I ended up getting this, but I still haven't read it. And then we got Boys Run the Right here. This one is actually not a BL. This one talks about transgender representation, so I'm gonna skip that, but I do have this, and this one's really good. It's about fashion and kind of discovering your identity. And then we got Cherry Magic, also one of my favorite BL series. This one focuses on two office workers, and one of them turns 30 and ends up getting this superpower where he can hear people's thoughts when he touches them. And then he finds out one of his really like well-respected popular co-workers is actually in love with him when he feels like he's pretty much a loser. And then they end up starting a really cute relationship. Very cute, very good, very wholesome. The fact that they're so thin though and expensive is sad. And then we've got Ennead. This one is a Egyptian mythology BL manhwa. I think it's a manhwa. This one is weird though because obviously it's Egyptian mythology, so there's a lot of like incest. So I don't know how I feel about calling it a BL, but yeah, this one's weird. And then we got K times Yaku. This one focuses on two people who are trying to find the same person. I think it's find the same person or revenge the same person, something like that. Figure out why she ended up dying, and they end up teaming up together to, figure out this mystery. This one turns out my online friend is my real life boss. This one a lot of people say has Waterkoi vibes, but BL, and I think it's because these two are both like gaming buddies, but then they find out that they actually work with each other. I haven't read that one yet, but heard it's really cute. And then we got Restart After Growing Hungry and Restart After Coming Back Home. This one I've had for ages and still haven't read it, so I really need to read this one. But I think it's about a guy who is working in the city but then ends up coming back to his hometown and rekindling his friendship with one of the people that he used to be friends with there. And then I got one volume of What Did You Eat Yesterday. This one is very well beloved for me Yoshinaga work. Personally, I read half of it and couldn't really get into it, so I still haven't read the full thing. But it focuses on two male people who just end up cooking and talking about the things that they cook each day and what they eat each day, and then they talk about their daily lives. Very slice of life. Alright, sorry about this angle. It's like really crap because it's literally at the bottom and in the corner of my room. But this one is I Think Our Son Is Gay. This one is a manga about a high school boy who is in love with one of his classmates, but then it kind of is narrated from his mother's point of view, and his mother is basically like, I think our son is gay because he does this, and then the high school boy is really trying to not make it obvious that he's in love with men, and it just makes it so obvious because he tries to hide it. And then this one is Praise Me When I'm a Good Boy. This one was sent to me by Yampress and I still haven't read it, but a lot of people really like it. And then we got The Titan's Bride. This one I got for really, really cheap on Blackwell, so I decided to pick it up. It's not really something that I would pick up, mainly because I'm not a big fan of like size differences, and this guy is a giant and then this guy is like a normal guy, so that's why. But I'm thinking maybe it will be funny enough that I will enjoy it because it's so ridiculous. And then got All or Nothing. This one also got sent to me by Yampress. This one is by the same author who did Pink Heart Jam, I think. Not sure what this one is about. And then over here we got The Other World's Books Depend on the Bean Counter, one of Kate Tins's favorite mangas. Basically about a guy who gets isekai'd. His name is Condor. He gets isekai'd into a world where it's kind of like, I guess, historical, more like there's loads of royalty, and he gets isekai trying to save one of the girls who was like drowning in this portal, and then he also gets stuck doing that, and then they both get isekai'd. One of the girls he gets isekai'd with is known to be like the Holy Maiden, and then this guy is like, oh, he's an extra, so he can just do whatever he wants. But the accounting department in that nation is not doing well, so he is a workaholic already, so he ends up taking control of the accounting department and trying to make it better. And then things happen and he meets this very handsome knight called Arash, and then they somehow end up having to have like a very, you know, close bond with each other through some things that happen. So yeah, it's very good. I like it. And then we got Delinquent Daddy and Tender Teacher. I think I have 1 to 4, and this one focuses on two people who ended up knowing each other back in high school, and I think they both liked each other, but they never really said anything. And then they meet later on because one of them ends up inheriting, or not inheriting, but ends up having to take care of his child because I think his previous wife or ex-wife passed away. So then he's like the next of kin, and then he's kind of trying to deal with how to take care of a child because he doesn't have any idea. And then the child's kindergarten teacher ends up being the person he used to know back in high school, and then their obviously relationship developed from there. And then we got How My Daddies Became Mates. This one is on a Megaverse. Heard loads of people love this one. Haven't read it yet though. And then we got Our Dining Table, which is a really, really cute BL series. This one focuses on a guy who kind of has issues with eating and eating in front of people in general due to some things that happened in his past. But then he comes across this little boy who is like really hungry, and then so he shares his rice bowl with him, and then he meets his brother. And then his brother is like, oh, he like keeps going about that rice bowl you made. Do you think you can come over and help? And so he ends up going over and helping, and then starts to heal and enjoy meals with people again, which is really wholesome, really cute. And then we got Mobsters in Love. This one is one that Kate Tins also likes. I think this one focuses on like two adult older men, which I'm all for. So, but I haven't read it yet. Look forward to that one. And then we got Totally Captivated, which is a really old school BL series. Honestly, I think this one is very red flag because it's very like toxic. But it talks about the, I guess, gangpeder, which is the equivalent of like Yakuza Mafia. And then he ends up taking this guy for some reason. I don't remember. I think he's in debt, and then ends up kind of taking him as his like toy. And then yeah, it's kind of sus. I wouldn't personally not recommend it now, but it was messy back in the day and I enjoyed it. I moved my little stack over here, but we got 7 Days. This one is basically about a guy who ends up dating people. Every time someone asks him how, he says yes, but then his condition is that we only date for 7 days and then that's it. So he says yes to everyone, and then suddenly he ends up getting a request from a guy, and they end up dating for 7 days. So it's his first time dating a guy, and you can imagine what happens after the 7 days. And then we got No Touching at All and Even So I Will Love You Tenderly. These are two separate one-shots, but they kind of what do you say, like they kind of connect with each other because people from this story are in this story, and side characters from this story end up being the main characters in this story. But this one's really good. I don't really love this one, but a lot of people love this one, but this one's my favorite. Even So I Will Love You Tenderly. This one's really good. This one's about a guy who is gay, and then he ends up getting, I guess, exposed because people find out that he was dating this one guy in the same office, and due to that scandal, he ends up getting transferred to a different department, and then there he ends up falling for his boss. And then this one is about one of the characters in this one. And then he is basically straight, but then ends up making friends with this guy called Deguchi, and it's so good. Definitely read this one when it comes out. I don't know when it's coming out though. It keeps getting delayed, but this one's good. It's basically about unrequited love and friends to lovers. And then we got the same from Koyonoda, which is Twittering Birds Never Fly. This one is a really dark Yakuza story about a guy who has a lot of shit in his past, like super bad trauma. And then it's kind of made him weird. Like the way he views like relationships and intimate relationships is kind of messed up. And so he ends up getting a new bodyguard because I don't remember. I think he comes straight out of jail because he ended up killing or like fighting one of his sister's like abusers, and so he ends up going to jail for that. And then because he has like no job prospects, he enters the Yakuza world to, you know, live a life again. And yeah, there's a very sad, you know, yearning relationship that goes on in this story between them. Alright, we're down to the last stack down here, which is mostly ones that are like BL Sublime stuff. But we got Megumi and Sukumi. This one is a really funny Omegaverse BL story about two high school students who are from differing schools, and then they end up kind of forming a relationship with each other. And then we got Dragon's Betrothed Volume 1. I never really liked much of Meguru Hinohara's works. I pretty much gave away all the ones that I had, but I still have this one. I'll see if I like it because it has like a supernatural element to it. And then we've got Old Fashioned Cupcake and Old Fashioned Cupcake with Cappuccino. I have no idea what this one is about, but yeah, I just got it because I heard some good things about it. And Nights is a one-shot collection by Koyonada. I love Koyonada's work, so I always get whatever she puts out. And then we got Pink Heart Jam as well here, one of the authors that I talked about previously. This one also got really good reviews, so I got it. I am apologizing that I don't know much about some of these series because I literally just get them based on reviews. And then in here we have Acid Town, which is also another Yakuza type BL story, which has like a darker storyline to it. Kind of reminds me of Koyonada's works. I really like Kyugo's one-shots that she used to put out, so I decided to get this one. And then we got Fangs, one also a lot of people have talked about, but this one is a supernatural series as well about vampires. Still haven't read it, heard it's good though. And then we got Confessions of a Shy Baker. A lot of people compare this one to Fumiyoshi Naga's What Did You Eat Yesterday, but a lot of people don't love this one as much, but it basically focuses on the couple and their cooking adventures and baking adventures. And then we got Our Not So Lonely Planet Travel Guide. A lot of people talk, you know, highly about this one as well. A couple as well who ends up traveling all over the world, and then they make a promise to each other if they can survive traveling around the world together, then they'll get married when their travels are over. And then we got Dekoboko Bittersweet Days and Dekoboko Sugar Days. I think this one is a high school BL. Still haven't read this one either. And then we got Lullaby of the Dawn. This one I think also has like a supernatural element to it. Heard it's really good. Still haven't read it. And then we got The Vampire and His Pleasant Companions. Also another supernatural story. Have not read that one. And then I got last one, I Cannot Reach You. This one is a slow burn high school BL series. It focuses on two childhood friends and kind of how they're discovering that they like each other, but apparently it's just like really slow burn. I read the first volume, kind of cute. But yeah, that was everything in my GL and BL collection. Hope you enjoyed watching that video and seeing my shelves. I'm not sure if I explained some of the series well, but I still hope you enjoyed and you found something that you are interested in or looking to try out. But yeah, as always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe and comment down below as well, because I love reading your comments. And hopefully I will see you in my next video.